Good morning, students. Today we are starting with the fourth chapter, that is agriculture. We'll first try to understand the meaning of agriculture. Agriculture is an art and a science for cultivating soil. It is called an art because the skills are required for the cultivation of crops. And at the same time, it is called a science because modern agriculture is very scientific in nature. We use high yielding varieties of seeds, which are a result of scientific research and technology. We make use of irrigation facilities, we make use of the fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, and weedicides. And we make large scale use of the machines for cultivation of crops. That is why it is called a science. It includes the land cultivation, but in India, we find that the farmers are not exclusively practicing cultivation of crops. At the same time, they are also engaged in animal husbandry. They are rearing animals, cattle, sheep, goat. These are reared by the farmers. Along with that, they are also practicing forestry or pisciculture as well. Students, this net sown area and gross sown area is a very important topic that you need to understand before understanding the agricultural practices in India. See, what is the basic difference between net sown area and gross sown area? Net means the actual. So net sown area is the total area on which the crops are being grown in a particular year. But gross sown area includes not only the net sown area, but the irrigated area is added 2 times as it gives more crops. So gross sown area is total area, not only the net sown area but also the area on which crops are grown twice or thrice, and it mainly is because of irrigation facilities, whereas the net sown area is totally dependent upon amount of rainfall received in the area. This is a map which shows the areas which are rain fed. Okay, so this is just for information for you people. The northern plains of India are most suitable from the rainfall point of view. They get ample amount of rainfall for the cultivation of crops. Next, the net sown area is in that area the total production and the production per hectare are comparatively less. But over the gross sown area, because irrigation facilities are being used, so both annual production as well as production per hectare are high. The net sown area can be increased when we increase land under cultivation, but gross sown area can be increased even without including more land under cultivation, rather only increasing the area under irrigation. That means if we increase the area under irrigation, that will increase the gross sown area. Okay, students, next topic is the main features of Indian agriculture. A very important topic. Commonly questions are asked on this topic in the board exams also. Please mark it as very important topic in your notebooks also. What are the main features? The first and the foremost feature is over dependence on monsoons. Most of the farmers in India are dependent on monsoon for agricultural operations because much part of India is still not developed from irrigation point of view, so farmers are dependent on the rainfall. Secondly, Indian agriculture is subsistence type of agriculture. That means the main aim of production is not the market but personal consumption. There are few areas like Punjab, Haryana and Western UP where commercial farming is practiced. Otherwise, in general, most of the parts of India are practicing subsistence farming. Thirdly, small and scattered land holdings. Students, in India, we have a practice of division of land among the sons. And this is being practiced for many generations by now. Because of which, the size of the land holdings is becoming smaller day by day and they are becoming economically unproductive. Next, the lack of inputs. We all know about the poverty of the farmers in India. There are few areas where farmers are even committing suicides because of the indebtedness. They are unable to pay back the loans to the government, and many a times they take loans from the money lenders and they are unable to pay back to them. And this results in poor inputs in the agriculture sector. Farmers are still dependent on traditional seeds. They are using the bulls for plowing the fields. They are using manual labor, or manually they are working on even threshing in some areas. Next, the use of farm animals. As I said, because of poverty, they are unable to buy the machines and they are using animals for the agricultural operations. Next topic is types of farming. Students, we have to understand the basic nature of farming. We all know that the man started cultivating crops through accidental learning, and it was primitive subsistence farming. That means primitive means old and traditional, and subsistence means for personal consumption. Students, humans might have noticed in the past that the seeds fell and they grew into plants. So that might have been one of the ways of learning how the agriculture can be done, or how the cultivation of crops can be done. And because he was a primitive man, because he was a tribal man, he was living in the jungles, so he naturally depended on the simple tools like hoes, dhows and digging sticks, and he used the family or community labor for cultivation of crops. So small patches of land were used for cultivation in the areas where they were living. This depends on the monsoon, that means the natural rainfall and natural fertility of the soil and suitability of other environmental conditions. That means man was totally dictated by the forces of nature. He was not using scientific methods for cultivation of crops. And it is actually called shifting cultivation, or is also called slash and burn farming. Here you can see that it's a dense forest and a patch of land has been cleared for cultivation. Now some more features, some other details about shifting cultivation I'm going to give you. It's actually the agriculture which is practiced in the jungles by the tribal areas. Okay, the crops, they are grown hardly for 2 to 3 years till the time the natural fertility of the soil is maintained, because they are not using fertilizers, they are not using manures, chemical fertilizers. That is why when the fertility of the land decreases, the farmers shift to new land. I'm really sorry for this spelling mistake for the. Okay, this is another image which is showing shifting cultivation. A patch in the jungle has been cleared, the trees have been cut, the bushes have been burnt, and the area has been cleared for cultivation. Mainly in these areas, dry paddy is grown. Just as we grow wheat, the paddy is grown because they don't use irrigation. Maize, millets and vegetables are grown, all the crops which are needed for personal consumption. The main areas where shifting cultivation is practiced in India includes the northeastern states of India, mainly Assam, Mizoram, Nagaland, Bastar, part of Chhattisgarh, Manipur and Meghalaya. Now, this is one very important topic that you have to remember, that students, shifting cultivation is discouraged by the government. The government is encouraging these tribals to lead a sedentary life, means a stationary life where they live in a village, practice agriculture and do not get involved in burning the jungles. And as I informed you that it is also called slash and burn or jhuming agriculture. See, slash and burn simply means they cut the trees, slash the trees and burn the bushes and then clear the land. This is another image showing the shifting cultivation patch which is freshly cleared for the cultivation in a dense forest. This is slash and burn agriculture. As you can see here, jungle has been cleared, is being cleared rather, for cultivation. The next topic, that is subsistence agriculture and commercial agriculture. Students, as we have discussed earlier, it was primitive subsistence agriculture, but modern agriculture is no more primitive agriculture. There are few improvements in the methods of farming. So we differentiate between subsistence agriculture and the commercial agriculture. Subsistence agriculture, naturally it is practiced by the farmers and his family members only. They do not have large number of workers or machines working on them to raise the crops for personal consumption only. Whereas under the commercial agriculture, the crops are grown for the market, mainly for selling in the market. Subsistence agriculture is practiced on smaller farms, whereas commercial farms are generally large in size. The subsistence agriculture is labor intensive, that means most of the work is done manually. Whereas the commercial agriculture is capital intensive, more money is required for buying the machines, the modern techniques like fertilizers, HYV seeds, or the pesticides and the insecticides. So under subsistence agriculture, older technology and older implements are used, whereas modern technology and implements are used for commercial agriculture. Here you can see commercial activities here. You can see a large sized farm is shown here towards the bottom, where the cultivation of crops is being done on a large scale. Then you can see here, actually this is commercial agriculture is also associated with animal rearing along with the cultivation of crops. Then next topic, intensive subsistence farming, because we have to understand different methods of farming practiced in India. So intensive subsistence farming is practiced in areas of large population where the pressure on the land is high, as in case of India. We have large population, but we have less area under cultivation, and it is decreasing because of increase in the population. And it is labor intensive. Most of the work is done by the people. Large scale use of biochemical inputs and irrigation are used to increase the production, because land under cultivation cannot be increased, but the pressure on land is high, so they have to increase the cultivation or production by using these measures. Okay, the next type of farming is dry farming and wet farming. Students, many a times I have seen my students getting confused in dry farming and wet farming. See, the dry farming means the cultivation of crops which is done in semi-dry and drier parts of India, where special types of crops are grown which can survive with low humidity. Okay, it is practiced in northwestern part of India, mainly in parts of Rajasthan, northern parts of Gujarat, western parts of Madhya Pradesh, and southern parts of Punjab as well. Grams and peas, they are the main crops grown in these areas, whereas the wet farming is dependent on rain. Generally, I have seen a confusion. Wet farming, they write that it is dependent on irrigation, but that is wrong. It depends mainly on the rainfall and is done in most parts of India, like northeastern parts, eastern India, western slope of Western Ghats, where good amount of rainfall is available. And the main crops grown by farmers includes rice, jute, and sugarcane. Here you can see the farms where the dry farming is being practiced, and this is wet farming. Okay, another method of farming, technique of farming, is plantation agriculture. Students, you all are well aware of Himachal Pradesh, especially where you are living. Here we have tea plantations. So if you keep that in mind, you can yourself understand a few features of plantation agriculture. When you see a tea farm, you generally find that it is a large sized farm and only one crop is grown, and huge amount of capital is involved, because we need more number of people to work on these farms, and we need processing also nearby. That is why more money is required for plantation agriculture, for buying those large patches of land. And modern scientific methods have to be used. Regular manuring has to be done. Machines are used for processing, so that is why more money is required. And the production is mainly meant for the market, not for only personal consumption. This picture shows the plantation agriculture. You can see huge farm is there and it is growing only single crop. These are some of the features of plantation agriculture that we have discussed already. The main areas where plantation agriculture is done, that is northeastern parts of India, sub-Himalayan region and West Bengal and Nilgiris region. Mainly we find that it is practiced in Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand and Assam and adjoining parts of Meghalaya as well. In India, tea, coffee, rubber, sugarcane and banana are the important plantation crops. Tea is mainly grown in Assam and North Bengal and coffee is grown in Karnataka. Next, we have difference between intensive and extensive farming. Students, intensive farming where intense use of the land is done. Children, generally high population pressure is there, so they try to make maximum possible use of the land by using higher inputs and better techniques. And because land is limited, so they try to maximize the production by using modern methods. Whereas in case of extensive farming, the production is increased by bringing more and more land under cultivation, because in these areas generally we find that the population is small and the land under cultivation is large, so they can increase the area under cultivation. This particular photograph is showing extensive farming. A large sized farm is there and large scale use of machines. As you can see, a combine is working for the harvesting and threshing of the crop. This is another image showing extensive farming. A large sized farm is there. Okay students, we take up the next topic now, that is cropping seasons in India, because this question has been asked in the boards in the past, so you must understand that there are 3 cropping seasons. First we have the Rabi crops, and second we have Kharif crops, and thirdly we have the interseasonal crops or Zaid crops. So we start with the Rabi crops. Important thing that you have to understand is when are they sown and when are they harvested and what are the main crops grown during that period. So these Rabi crops, they are grown in the month of October, November and are harvested in March, April. And I hope you can correlate that wheat comes home in March, April, because Baisakhi is celebrated at that time. So remember, wheat, barley, grams, oilseeds are the main Rabi crops. Whereas Kharif crops, they are sown in June, July and harvested in October, November. Main crops grown: rice, maize, millets, cotton, groundnuts and the major Kharif crops. And as I said, there are 3 seasons. So Zaid season is the 3rd season, which is actually the season between the Kharif and Rabi crops. So generally we find fruits and vegetables are grown during this period. Crops like watermelon, muskmelon, cucumber, vegetables and fodder crops are generally grown. Thank you very much.